Welcome to Friendeavor, the podcast, the weekly podcast where we explore the highs and lows of friendship with your hosts, Danielle and Kayla.
As we journey through life, our friendships often evolve and change, ebb and flow, and sometimes even come to an end. Danielle and I are lifelong advocates for the power of friendship, and we are here to guide all of us through the many challenges and joys that come with building and maintaining strong, meaningful connections with those around us.
Join us each week as we deep dive into the intricacies of friendship, from navigating conflicts to fostering new relationships and everything in between. With insightful interviews, personal anecdotes, and expert advice, Friendeavor is the perfect podcast for anyone looking to strengthen their bonds with the people they love.
So, whether you are on the go, taking care of chores, or just settling in, get ready to explore the world of friendship on Friendeavor, the podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Friendeavor. I'm your host, Danielle.
And I'm Kayla. Welcome back, everyone.
And we are thrilled to have you stop by and hang out with us this week. First and foremost, happy Mother's Day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
This past weekend was Mother's Day, so if you're a mom out there, living that life, being a mother, being strong, being there for your family, leading and guiding them. First of all, thank you.
Doing everything.
First of all, thank you, but also, we admire you.
Yeah, big time.
This is just as much for you as it is for a teenager or an unmarried person or someone who has more time to hang out with their friends. Just because you're a mom does not mean that you don't need to have friends. You don't get to have friends. We touched on that with our episode with Nicole Williams. Mm-hmm. And we hope to dive into it more in the future. But first and foremost, like I said, I wanted to kick it off by saying Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, Happy Mother's Day.
That being said, that leads me into a promo for next week. Next week, we are going to be having Kim Horton and Karen Anderson, our moms, on the podcast.
Yes, we're so excited.
We are stoked.
Yeah. With this one, with all our interviewees, we are selective and we choose them based on, the topic. But, this one, you just see the fruit of it.
Yeah.
In their children, not
Eight
trying to toot our own horns, but
because we're amazing, so therefore.
But you just see the fruit of it because there were things that I saw my peers go through growing up that I just never went through because my parents blocked it.
Yeah.
There were things they sent limits on, and we'll go into it next week. Yeah. But we're really excited for this one.
But if you are a mom and you are worried about the future for your kids, which I would imagine every mom is, but if you just want some tips and tricks on just making sure your kids have got those good relationships in your life, tune in. They've got many decades of parenting between them, 8 kids. Kids are married, grown up, grandkids on Kim's side. And so, they have a lot to offer, and we're really stoked to have them on the pod. So as a lead into that episode, and I can just go ahead and tell you what the episode is about because we want you to come back, but we're going to be talking about making sure your kids have safe friendships. And if you're not a parent, but you hope to be one day, this episode's still for you. This is not just for the moms out there, but in an effort to lead into that topic, we want to talk about the importance of having good friends.
Right.
What does that mean? What does it look like?
Right. And, you would think like this entire channel and everything we do is based around this topic. But really, we talk about how to be a good friend on here. But we've never really done an episode that's like, hey, this is why this is important. Because there are some people, it's silly, but there are some people who really do think I don't need a lot of friendships because I have this going for me and I'm fulfilled with my job and I'm an introvert and all this. Well, you do. And we're going to list the reasons why.
To tag in on that, and like I said, we're going to break this whole thing down, but not only people don't think about why do they need these friendships, they also think that any type of friendship will do.
Right.
Like any compromising situation that they find themselves in. Well, they're my friend, so I have to be friends with them. Is it a good friendship? What is it adding to your life? What is it taking away from your life? Because sometimes friendships don't necessarily take anything away, like in a negative, but they don't add anything either.
Right.
So we're going to try to break down that whole process today, the whole concept of this. And if you have questions that pop up while you're listening, email us, friendeavorpodcast@gmail.com. Also, email us if you have questions for our moms for next week.
Right.
We're going to be putting out something on Instagram asking for questions to come in, and we'll try to get through as many as we can. But this is a great time for you to you know, if you have questions for us, if you have questions for them, send them in, and we will definitely try to get them on that episode.
Right.
My favorite scripture that has to do with friendship is not an uncommon one. Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear that scripture, what does it mean to you?
Ooh. Well, it definitely highlights the importance of healthy relationship dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a scripture that might make you want to take inventory of your friends. Be like, hey, is this friend sharpening my countenance?
Yeah. No? Is it iron?
Yeah.
Right. Or is it a rock?
Mm-hmm.
And rock and stone can be used to sharpen iron, but it's got to be at the right angle. It's got to be at the right process, all that stuff. So the scripture clearly says iron sharpens iron. Your friendship is going to affect the people around you. Your friendships are going to affect you. Mm-hmm. So what does it mean to have good friends? Why is that important? Well, first and foremost, you have emotional support.
Yes.
Good friends provide that strong source of emotional support during both good times and bad times. They offer that listening ear, that crying shoulder, just empathy, trying to understand what you're going through, and helping you navigate those life's challenges, the ups and downs, but also celebrating the joys, like we talked about last week in celebrating milestones.
Yeah. And, you know, we hear all the time when people talk about romantic relationships, like, you don't need to settle and all that. Well, you don't need to settle for your friendships either.
Correct.
And your friends
say it louder for the people in the back.
Your friends should be a source of emotional support for you, even if it's not. If empathy is not their strength, there really is no excuse for not being a source of emotional support for your friend. Either you care or you don't.
Even if they're just listening to you,
right?
Maybe they don't have solutions for you, but they just want to help you and hear you.
Yeah,
that is emotional support. And if that's something that you don't have in your life, seek out good friendships. That's not to say that they don't bring other things to the table, but you have to have that whole scope of friendship, even if it's found in multiple people. Mm-hmm. And Kayla, like you said about settling, I and my friend group have been just absolutely devastated by the recent disruptions in the covenant of marriage, God's, design. It seems like there's so many people that are rushing into marriage at older age, and I don't want to, I'm not pointing any fingers, okay? I know that, you want to get married. People want to get married. Mm-hmm. But maybe they're 30, 40 later, and they never have experienced it, and so they're like, oh, I want to get married. So they get married. Maybe they have kids, and then the relationship doesn't work out. And it seems like a rushed relationship in the beginning. But now you've got kids in the world who are going to grow up, and you've served them a broken home on a silver platter, which this is getting really deep this early in the episode. And again, I don't have I
was not expecting that.
Any ill intentions, but you said settle, and that's what made me think of this. And so obviously that's a much, much, much higher stakes situation in marriage, because that's the top of the friendship pyramid, and that's as high as you can go, and we don't touch on that often. But at every single level, except for maybe acquaintance, when you settle for that category, okay, I'm just gonna be friends with them because no one else will be friends with me. No one else will talk to me. No one else will like me. Is your iron getting sharpened? Mm-hmm. Is your countenance being sharpened? Or are you settling? Yeah. Are you trying to develop a friendship? Are you trying to work on becoming a better person? Are you seeking out friendships to become better?
Yeah. Right.
The loneliness aspect of any before any relationship is so difficult. But you see people who are so desperate for friendship that they'll leave church.
Yeah.
They think that they can't find anything. Mm-hmm. I had a friend who was the definition of a people person. She wanted to meet everyone, and because the environment that she was in didn't really cater to that, she left. And unfortunately, that was the church that she left. because it was just a bad situation. And it wasn't the church's fault, like the body of Christ's fault. But then she ended up leaving and finding her comforts in all the wrong places and ended up on a abysmal, destructive path because she settled. Like, she wasn't finding what she thought she needed. Right. And that's a whole other concept in itself. Yeah. I did an episode on YouTube one time that we're going to do on here that don't leave what you have for what you think you want.
That's really good.
Don't leave. Don't just throw away what you have because you think you want something better. Like, the phrase "the grass is always greener" is a very old colloquialism, but it's so true. And so when you're looking for relationship, when you're looking for connectivity, emotional support is a piece of that, because emotional support is not only in the ups and downs, but it's also in when you're feeling high strung, when you just want to throw in the towel, like, I'm done. Emotional support also helps you regulate that. Yeah. When you're high strung, when you're out of control, when you're hyperactive. Right. Emotional control steps in and says, hey. All right, look at the bigger picture right now and not just what your freak out is about. Right. That is the emotional support piece that I feel like people don't often think about.
Right. Yeah. Even if you're not a quote unquote high strung person, you have moments, and you're going to need friends that can hold you during those times. I don't consider myself like on edge all the time. Like, I'm pretty chill for the most part, but I do have those moments, and I need my friends that can be like, okay, you need to chill. We need to talk about this.
How about on the way down the mountain with the bugs? Did you have some emotional support then? Please tell the people what we just did this weekend. Break it down for them.
Okay.
This is horrendous, you guys.
Here's the thing. I come from a family who, like, they're a hiking family. All my sisters, they're crazy. And I've only hiked with my family.
And then she hit the jackpot and married into our family, which does not hike.
Yeah. Well, I stopped hiking for years. I kind of like resented it for years because, like, I just was never able to keep up with them. Well, like, since I've been with my husband, they've gone on a couple hikes, he and Kara and my father-in-law.
For some reason, these clowns decided that we needed to become a hiking family.
So they've gone on a few, and since we've been married, I've been like, no, I'm staying at the cabin, I'm staying home, staying at the Airbnb.
Preach.
Well, I decided to go this weekend because I was just like, I might get back into it. Well, it was Upper Yosemite Falls, and it was just
Yosemite Falls. This is the tallest waterfall in North America.
I almost died, and I don't have a lot of temper tantrums. Like, I'm pretty good.
You're not on edge. You're not hyperactive. Like, you're not an on edge person.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at regulating my own emotions. I don't really need help a lot. Well, we were coming down the mountain, and
it was almost over.
It was almost over. We were at the last part, and this is where my husband Brett, he was just thrilled, and he was just yapping, just so excited.
He had
I was
a degree in Japanese.
I was like, this is terrible. My feet are hurting. There are mosquitoes flying in my face. I had to wave my hand in front of my face while I walked, for the last quarter mile, so you can see what that looked like. Then he kept walking in front of me, so I couldn't even talk to him. So I was like, this is just miserable. And I started crying. And it's not often this way. Usually it's the other way around, where he's on edge and I'm the one calling him down. Well, this time I was crying, and I was like, can you please just wait for me? And so he stops, and he goes, babe, this log right here, I saw it when we were coming in, we were starting this hike, and I thought, when I see this log when we're on our way down, I'll know that we're almost done. And now I'm seeing the log. Isn't that wonderful? I'm like, you are gentle parenting me right now.
That emotional support in the relationship.
I was like, yeah, the log is wonderful, but I'm still miserable.
And the mosquitoes are everywhere. I just love that example because it shows emotional regulation and support outside of my pet just died, or I lost my job, something like the downs of life, or a conflict or something like that. It just shows stress. Yeah. And that's actually the second one that we kind of just bled into, was reduce the stress. Good friends reduce your stress. At least they should. Because studies have shown that having strong social connections can help reduce those stress levels. And good friends provide that sense of like belonging and security, which can buffer against those negative effects of stress on your mental and physical health.
Right. Well, it's also reduced stress when you have good friendships because your friends are not the ones causing the stress. That's not to say you won't have relationship conflict. Everyone does at some point. But, like, for me, if I'm in some sort of relationship conflict that's unresolved, you best believe I am up at night thinking about it. I am thinking about it during work. I'm thinking about it during church. I know that's terrible. I am thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And it is stressful. And so having good friendships that won't cause you all that will reduce your stress by default.
Won't create stress, and it will help reduce and regulate other situations that you find yourself in, which it just makes things better. In fact, that's our third thing, is that it increases good friendships increases your happiness. Joy. You know that you can choose to have joy. Yes. You wake up in the morning, you have the joy of the Lord, you choose to have joy. Happiness is that more flitting emotion. So you have that increased happiness because friends bring the joy and the laughter into our lives, contributing to your overall happiness and well-being. Spending time with them.
Yes.
Engaging in activities that everyone enjoys, or even if not everyone enjoys the same activity, even being together.
Yeah.
Which leads me, I can go into a whole 20-minute rant about try to do things that everyone enjoys, or at least be in an environment where everyone can have fun.
Yes.
But all those things can just boost moods and create the positive memories that sustains you.
Right.
And builds you up.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we'll go back to this Yosemite thing. We all went to Yosemite. My mom and I, and Kayla has betrayed us, but we used to we don't like to hike. Like, that's not our thing. And Brett and Kara and my dad would go hiking. And so we would still have stuff to do. We would do little path trails, just that are not difficult. We would go set up like a little campsite by the river, or go, just lounge and have fun. But we were all in the same place. We're all doing the exact same activity, but we were all in a place where we could be successful and have fun and be together.
Right. It was so fun.
I feel like the only time that you should be in a situation where and people are contributing to it is like a bachelorette party or something, where not everyone has to love what you're doing, because at that point it's about the bride, right? That's not to say some people can't be insane and like bridezillas about it, but we have an episode coming up about that next season that we'll get into. But for the most part, if you guys are all contributing and having a friend's day out or something, you all need to be on board with whatever you're doing.
Right.
Having good friendships can make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Enhance your self-esteem. Positive interactions, like Kayla's family is so good about gassing people up. Like, and the thing is like, they're not even, a lot of times that's not even like their intention. It's just their genuine, natural reaction to something. It's just like,
it's so sweet.
You would say something that is not awe-inducing, and they'd be like, "Aww, sissy,
oh my word!"
And that's like, that's their nature. But you know what? It makes you feel good about yourself. It enhances your self-esteem and confidence, and it provides validation that honestly you might not even know you needed. And like encouragement and support, and it makes you feel valued and appreciated. And good friends will make you feel that way. If your friends don't make you feel valued, that does not count as a good friendship in my book.
Well, and if your friends are not going out of their way to make you feel valued and boost your self-esteem, there may be some competition or jealousy in there somewhere.
That's awful.
And we've done an episode on that, but yeah, I mean, your friends should be making you feel good about yourself.
It's funny, Abby, and I hope you're listening because I am totally gonna call you out right now. She just started this amazing new business. She's gonna be a bajillionaire. She just had her first bridal expo.
Yes.
And it was like a huge deal. And she told Kara, not me. First of all, she didn't even tell me that she was starting this business. She told Kara, but not me. Okay. And then Kara wanted to do something with her that Sunday or that weekend. And she's like, oh, I can't have a bridal expo. So the only reason that she even told Kara about that was because it was like, that was the reason she couldn't do something else.
Right.
Well, Kara was like, oh, okay, when is it? It's this day, it's this time. Okay, I'm gonna come.
Yeah.
Abby did not tell any of us this. So thank God Kara did. So we busted up in this bridal expo and we are taking pictures and we are
so
I'm walking around screaming, wow, what amazing flower walls. Do you deliver? Because
that is awesome.
Because
oh my word.
She's gonna be so successful and I want to help her. We want to help her. We want to support her. And so I hope you hear that and I will flick you in the head the next time you don't tell us about something like that. Anyways, but we just wanted to support her.
Yeah.
Like, it's not tooting our own horns or anything. That's just like,
no, your friends should be there to support you.
Yeah, and you should allow them to. All right, this next reason that having good friends is important. It's not something that I can, like, speak on as an expert, but just, the generalness of it I can is good friends will just improve your mental health. Like Kayla said, you're not going to be dwelling on goofy, ridiculous stuff when you're trying to sleep at night and while you're trying to work. But strong social connections have been linked to better mental health outcomes. Yeah. You got that lower rates of depression and anxiety or help regulating those things. Yeah. Good friends offer that sense of belonging in a group or just, what does it mean to belong?
Right.
Like that's what it gives you.
Yeah.
Companionship, and you just don't feel so isolated. Mm-hmm. If you're not feeling isolated, you're going to have a better stronger mental health. Yeah, that's not like, you don't have to have a PhD to connect that one.
Right.
But I just thought throw that out there. Going back to the thing where I said, if you're looking for or if you're settling for friends because you're not finding what you're looking for, first of all, I hope you aren't offended, but sometimes you just need to hear stuff. But good friends will help you develop social skills.
Yeah.
Or to get, even if you don't have good friends right now, trying to make friends will help you develop those social skills. And interacting with friends it gives you important skills, that communication, conflict resolution that you can take literally anywhere, into any field, into any relationship. And it just is so crucial for building and maintaining healthy relationships throughout your life.
And if the foundation of your friendship is shallow and you guys, there's no real connection because you haven't done the intentional work to get there, and the friendship is more like, oh, we take pretty pictures and then we lay around for hours editing them and then we scroll through Instagram and we're spending time together but not really, then your social skills, your friends are not sharpening your social skills if all you're doing with them is gossiping and or scrolling on Instagram. And there will be times when you are scrolling Instagram with your friends. We do that every sleepover. There's just a period of time where we're just scrolling. But you need to be having both.
Yeah,
your friends should improve your skills.
Another thing about that is, what about when you cycle through best friends every 2 months?
Yeah,
you fling yourself mind, soul, and body into this one relationship. And you act like they're just the moon and stars of your life. And you know what a moon does? Creates tides. You know what tides do? Ebb and flow. Pull in and push out. And pull in. And you know what? That's exhausting.
Yeah.
Taking out of you and then pushing you away. And then taking out of you and pushing you away. And so every 2 months, you're in this tidal rotation of friendship. And that's got to be exhausting. You're not building anything. Oceans, the tides, it just, I don't want to get too deep into this analogy because you could really go on a rabbit trail, but when you rotate through that, you're not building anything.
No.
You're creating something in a flash and it's burning out just like that.
Yeah.
It's like when you do a little flint, a quick flint thing when you're trying to start a fire. It's and a spark flies and then it's gone.
Yeah.
To build that fire, you have to hit the flint and then blow on the little twiggy deals. Add to it. Let it grow. Add a little bit more. Add. Move it to the log or whatever. Add to that, and then it grows and grows and grows and grows. And that's when you get your bonfire.
All that was in a fire.
There's probably other ways, but
I've never built
the Girl Scout way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, it's you got your tinder and you got your twigs and whatever, and it starts off small. Yeah. You get that flash and then you nurture the flash. Mm-hmm. But if you just click the flint every 2 minutes, you're not going to get a fire out of that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a friendship every 2 months if you just okay, that one's not working. It's burning out. Okay, what are you building? You're not building anything.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have a supportive network.
No.
Good friendships are supportive networks. Good friends form supportive networks that you can rely on in times of need. Practical assistance, like, you know, those airport runs or stuff like that. Emotional assistance.
Yeah.
Advice, mentorship. Friendships, good friendships, are there to help you through life.
Yeah.
That supportive network that you're not going to get through a kind of friendship.
Right.
You also have the personal growth aspect, which, speaking of growth, I don't plant plants, but my mom and sister plants plants, and my mom just planted me an herb tub, which we have a bunch of herbs in it, and they are so like cute. Growing like crazy. I'm going to have to show them to you after this.
I can't wait.
And you guys are growing plants too, right?
Yeah, we are.
What are you growing?
Bell peppers, tomatoes, parsley, and basil? I don't know. Brett takes care of them.
Yeah. We're doing thyme, rosemary, basil, mint, cilantro.
Oh my goodness.
Tomatoes, and maybe peppers. I don't know. You have to ask my mom. But I just went and got some basil to put in our bolognese tonight.
That's so
I
cool.
went outside and went snip, and it was there.
I love that. Brett did that the other night. Oh. He made chicken scampi for us, and he went and snip the parsley.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, oh my word.
This is what our life has become, is freaking out over plants. But what I was getting with that was personal growth. Plant growth, you know how it all connects. Friendships challenge us to grow. At least they should. Good friendships should.
Yeah.
And develop as individuals. Just providing the different perspectives, experiences, ideas, and encourage us to step out of our comfort zones and just foster personal growth and self-discovery. I've said this before, and I will say it probably a million more times. Friendeavor would not be where it is right now. It wouldn't even exist if someone else, your sisters and other people, had not helped me see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Not everyone has to have this kind of platform. Yeah. Not everyone should. I don't even know if I should. But I think that the content that we are trying to put out there and teach is valuable.
Oh, it's important, yeah.
You might have something in your life that's valuable, but you don't see it as valuable. But someone in your life, a good friend, and this is both good friend as in a general term and good friend on the friendship pyramid. Good friend can help you widen, just like when you're zooming out on an iPad, you pinch and it like zooms out a little bit. Oh, there's more to this.
Yeah.
There's so much more to this story. Pinch. Oh, you're not done with me yet. Oh, look. Oh, wow. This could become this. Oh, it's connected to this. And then you tag in with their idea and they give you over here an idea and they give you feedback. Wow, wow, this can grow. And then suddenly it's so much more.
Yeah.
You are so much more.
Yeah, your friendships should challenge you. And sometimes that can be scary because any challenges in general, they're scary. But just a couple weeks ago, I have this big goal, and you know, sometimes it can be a little bit scary to speak it out because then you're being held accountable. But I was like, I need to get some accountability for this. But I was very methodical with the friends that I told, because you know, you have people that, you know, they might get jealous, or the people are going to be like, okay, thumbs up, cool. Like, so I'm like, okay, I need to let my friends know. And I chose friends that I knew would keep me accountable, and they would challenge my ideas, and they would push me toward them ultimately, even when it's uncomfortable. And it was great. And now my friends to this day, well, I say to this day, and it was just a couple weeks ago, but they are asking me questions and keeping me accountable to that goal. And that's just the prime example of what we're talking about here, is the personal growth aspect. That's how good friendships make your life better.
That also leads to longevity and certain health benefits. Again, I'm no doctor, but certain research speaks for itself. I keep saying like research shows. I probably should have looked up the actual studies, but instead, like, and to give you some names, but you know what? You guys can Google it for yourselves. All of us can Google, so go Google it yourself. But research has shown that strong social connections, including friendships, are associated with increased longevity. Yeah. That means a long life, better physical health outcomes. First of all, you've got friends who should encourage you to live a healthier life.
Yeah.
Theoretically, even if that's not like physically, it's just emotionally. Provide motivation for self-care. If they like, hey, you're working yourself really hard.
Yeah.
Should we go have a spa day? Should we, you know, and then you got that aspect.
My 6-year-old niece told me the other day, she was just eavesdropping. I was telling my sister about my schedule for the next day or something. And I was like, yeah, this. And my 6-year-old niece was next to us and she goes, ugh, that is just too much for her. Like, not talking to me. She was talking to my sister. That is just too much for her. I was like, oh my word.
She's like, and you need to hear it.
Thanks for looking out for me, child.
That is hilarious. Yeah. Because you know what? She's growing up in a very balanced household.
She is.
Too. And so she, even from 6 years old, is like stepping back, pinching that iPad and going, whoa.
Slow down.
But yeah, so even that's so cute. That's such a cute example. And I could name literally that single 6-year-old who has that perspective on life. But yeah, motivation for self-care, offer companionship, that, you know, all that stuff that contributes to your overall well-being and quality of life. Because ultimately, good friends just enrich your life.
Yeah.
The ways are countless. Like, you can't... We threw out some ways here, but, you know, you could sit down and just write to the ways that your life has been made better by your friends.
Yeah.
Making life more enjoyable, meaningful, fulfilling, sharing your triumphs, helping you through challenges, cherishing, you know, creating memories, and just that firm, rich, full foundation for a life that you want to live.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the importance of having good friends.
Yeah.
And next week we will be chiming in on how to make sure that your kids are having those healthy, good friendships, because it needs to start at a young age.
Right. Yeah. I'm just so excited for that episode because, you know, it's not based on a degree with all this research. It's based on experience, and you see the fruit of it, and it's going to be wonderful. I trust both of the things, or both of what they have to say. Yeah, it's going to be great.
And the people who do grow up and flounder and are not able to settle and have strong friendships, a lot of that starts when they're a kid.
Yeah.
And if they don't have that example in their home, good friendships aren't being fostered, and like, hey, watch out for that. Be careful of that. Well, have you tried talking to that girl? Have you showed yourself friendly? You know, that was her constant refrain. Karen Sanderson is showing yourself friendly. I'm sure she'll quote that. Should we lay down a bet? I would say at least 2 times she will say that.
All right. Yeah.
Hopefully she won't listen to this episode.
I know.
But I would say at least 2.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for stopping by this week on Friendeavor, the podcast. We will see you next week with Kim, Karen, Kayla, and Danielle. And we're thrilled. We'll see you then.
We can't wait.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Friendeavor, the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you enjoyed today's content, leave a review and share with a friend. You can find the show notes on our website, www.friendeavor.net, and in the description of this episode.
Friendship is a journey. It's an endeavor. We'll see you next time on Friendeavor.